Hey, welcome back to the Trail Manners podcast. I'm your host, Eric Manning. It's been a while, and the reason being is we have been working on a new project. Trail Manners will be back in April with our normal routine, but about just say fall of 2024, we started working on a new project that we're able to launch the 1st of March here in 2025. And it's been pretty exciting. It's been a lot of work behind the scenes. And so I ran into a Trail Manners listener and friend of mine that said, hey, how come you didn't say anything on the Trail Manners podcast? I didn't know you guys had launched yet. So here we are. So the new project is Project Taper Up. It is with longtime friend and fellow host of this show for many years, Joel Hatch. And we've been running together, and we had a lot of questions on the Trail Manners podcast about, hey, how come you don't really see a lot of like older, and put that into context however you want, ambassadors for like different brands and companies? It's always super fit, super bomber, young, vibrant for sure, people that are kind of a part of these brands, and a lot of it I know you look at it and you say, oh, it's social media presence, the younger crowd, X, Y, and Z. But we started getting more and more of these questions in because we've been around a long time. Didn't realize how long Joel and I have been around the sport. And I guess sometimes we don't look at our age because we're kind of childish, but we have a lot of fun. And then we show up to races and it's still some of the same crew we raced and ran and participated with. So we're coming up with a new project. We're going to take some of that old school Trail Manners feel, adding life to it a little bit with a spin. And we're really excited. We launched, like I mentioned, at the start of 2025. And it's we call it Where Passion Meets the Trails. We want to celebrate the grit, the grace, and the joy of trail running for those embracing life over 50. Now, I know a lot of you listen and say, well, I'm not over 50. But we've had a lot of listeners and people say, man, I'm not 50, but this is some good information. Because if we're lucky, we all age. Right? That's the goal, is to wake up the next morning and, get to that next day. And as you age, there's different things that happen. Some are controllables, some are uncontrollables, and life throws a lot at you. So just like the old taper up strategy, that primes runners for peak performances, like we have always talked about, that's what's there to help, is taper up in every aspect of your journey: health, fitness, recovery, and beyond, right? And that's whether you're, conquering switchbacks or taking your first steps on the trail. The mission's to empower and inspire you to thrive, right, on and off the trails. So we've got a lot of engaging content, expert insights, and truly, Joel and I have a genuine love for this sport. It's more than a platform; it's a community. We want to have a lot of like-minded people who know it's never too late to embrace the adventure, right? And as we age, things change. And sometimes we get in that mindset of comparing ourselves. Man, I ran that race a few years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. Or, when I was running in the mornings before work, this is how I felt. Now it's this. So we wanted to get together and, just kind of empower, runners over 50 with some education and motivational content. We wanted to create a vibrant community to share stories and the love for trail running. I think that's the bottom line, is we've grown up in this sport and you've seen it change over the years, but it's something you can always do. And we're not talking about just racing, and we're not talking just ultras and major distances and things like that. We want to aspire some like new adventures. We're going to have weekly blogs. We have podcasts. We've got 5 of them launched, and we'll catch those up in a second. We're going to have videos that cover training tips, race day recaps. And in true fashion of myself and Joel Hatch, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to enjoy this. And again, it's for you. And again, you don't have to be over 50 to learn some things. And we've got some fantastic feedback from people in their 30s. And of course, we have fun. So I think I keep throwing that in there, but it's just an engaging time. And we just want to celebrate the journey, no matter your pace, no matter where you're at on the trail. If you want to get out for a few miles or more, whatever that looks like, we're trying to bring you things that can help you along the way. And I'll recap some of our, first 5 episodes that we've already launched, just to give you an idea of where we're headed with this. But the mission is to just really create engaging and educational content. And when we say engaging, we want feedback. We want questions. We want you to chime in because we want to help you taper up in life and fitness, right? We do have some great guests we've had on the show. We call them more of an expert in their fields. And, each episode has great conversation with some trail running legends, everyday athletes, experts in those fields, like I mentioned, and just sharing stories. I mean, if you've listened to the Trail Manners podcast, that's kind of what we want to do. It's not always about, first place, the elite, somebody that's, always on shows or always in the social media channels, or somebody that's in the mid-level marketing or ambassadorships, right? It's telling stories because they go away after a while. And I know there's so many of you out there that have those incredible stories. So there's going to be practical advice, and then just embracing the passion for trail running, right? Whether you're looking for a new PR or enjoying the journey, right? We're going to keep you moving forward. So like I mentioned, we have articles, we have some gear reviews we've already started. We're going to have some more videos that come up with that. And I just want to do a quick recap, kind of what our episodes have looked like. Like I said, we launched March 3rd of 2025. We got a website, projecttaperup.com, and we're still building that on the back end. But there's going to be a lot of information there. And so again, even through the Trail Manners channel, reach out to me here or at Project Taper Up for more on this. But, our first episode is just kind of tells you an idea of why we're doing this. It's just me and Joel sitting down like we have done historically and kind of gone over, what we are planning to do with the podcast. Episode 2 was fantastic. I sat down with longtime friend, episode 2 was Joel and I, sorry. That was our fitness foundations. We talked a lot about foundation of stronger running, cardio, VO2 max, balance, right? And I'm not talking balance in life. I'm talking balance on the trail. We tapped recovery and sleep, some nutrition, and some mental things there. And again, this was just kind of that high level into these topics. Then, I got ahead of myself. Episode 3, we had our first guest. We had Ty Draney on. And if you don't know who Ty Draney is, man, you need to Google him, right? Get on the Google machine, get on the intranet websites. Ty is a hero. He's one of my absolute legends, favorite people in the sport. He's an athlete, he's a coach, a race director. He's been around for a long time. He's worked with brands. And we kind of break down like run training, strength training, mobility, mindfulness, and recovery. And this comes from a coach's standpoint. And again, Ty, to me, is an expert in the field, over 30 years of experience. He was a true pioneer in the sport. May not have been the first trail runner because it goes back so long, but we tap into his knowledge and talk about why it's so important to have mobility and strength training as you age to help you stay out on the trails even longer. And that was a great episode. Episode 4 was probably one of we've done over 300 plus podcasts here at Trail Manners, and episode 4 of Taper Up, we had Julie Hansen on. And this was probably one of my all-time favorite podcasts. And again, this is one that you don't have to be over 50 to get some great information out of it, right? Julie Hansen is an absolute, legit true expert in exercise science. She's a registered dietitian, exercise physiologist, certified intuitive eating counselor with over, 30 years of experience in this field. In fact, I just hired Julie to help me as my nutritionist. And I've been working with her for, only 2 weeks now. And I'm noticing a huge difference with just some tweaks and things here and there. And it's not necessarily just because it's over 50, but finding some missing pieces I've had in my nutrition strategy, right? What happens when we get older, how nutrition plays into aging, right? Supplements, minerals, vitamins. Then she does a little guinea pig work on myself and Joel. Talks about tracking, logging food prepping, and that was with fitblissfitness.com. But again, that was one of my favorite episodes. We had a lot of fun. We kind of hit a high level, and a lot of these topics we're going to break down at different levels, right? So we're in the middle right now of episode 5, recovery. So ways to help with recovery to keep you healthy, to keep you uninjured or slightly, healthy, right? You're always going to be sore. But we talk, in episode 5, recovery planning from, making sure we got protein. We talked mobility again, the importance of sleep, strength training, hydration, supplements, kind of how you plan your recovery. And I know that's a mistake I've made historically. Recovery to me was like after a big run, after a race. But even at 20, there's ways to recover daily, right? And it's a big thing that you see tons of equipment and tons of everything else, how to help you recover, but there's some things we can do differently. So we really, again, hit a high level on that. And then we're about ready to launch a new episode. If you want to tune into that, we talk about kind of phase 2, right? Like a part 2 of recovery. We talk about, cupping, myofascial decompression, red light therapy, some of these other treatments, heat training, saunas, hot tubs, sports massage, cold water inversion, kind of that other part of recovery. And that's what we want to do throughout the entire life of Project Taper Up, is tackle different topics. And a lot of those come from the listener. If it's a topic, we go find somebody that knows, that may be an expert on that, because Joel and I are not experts. Let's get that straight. We've both been running for 20 plus years, right, in trail running. So we've seen a lot of things change. We've seen a lot of things stay the same. And at the end of the day, again, we don't take ourselves too seriously, but on this side, on the Taper Up project, probably a little more than Trail Matters, just because it's so important and we don't want to give misinformation. And we've had people reach out to us and ask us maybe more specific questions. And we've tried to find somebody maybe in that field with some expertise, education, however you want to say that, to help us answer those questions. So that's kind of what we want to be, a resource. We want to be here to help people as they age. We want to keep seeing you out there. We want to keep seeing you at the start line and the finish line. And we want to see you just keeping healthy, right? It doesn't matter if you race. I think we've got into that realm in general, and we'll tackle this on a Trail Manners episode, but people look at racing as okay, let me rephrase that. A lot of people look at racing as trail running, right? What races have you done? I know so many quality, outstanding people on the trails that don't race. It's not something they want to do, right? And so we're going to tackle that a little bit more. It's just about staying out there. We all love, if you listen to this podcast, I'm hoping you have a passion, love for the trails. And if you do, how do we stay out there as long as possible? How do we stay healthy, happy, and enjoying it as long as possible, right? Because we all have that expiration date. And we always talk about it. We all have changes that happen to us, whether we like it or not, right? Physically, some things, like I said, you can control and you can't control. And so we want to help people understand, and hopefully we'll tackle that mental side too of like, hey, it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. So what? You ran 7.5 minute mile or a 9 minute mile or 12-minute mile. Now you're not. It's okay. You're still out there. You're still living your best life. So that's what it's about. I just wanted everybody, if you subscribe to this show, if you listen to Trail Manners and weren't aware of Project Taper Up, I just wanted to throw that out there at you. And that's where I've been. We've been really putting a lot of effort into this project, and we've put a lot of time, and I wanted a pure focus on that through, January and February as we launched, because we had podcasts up through December as we were working on Project Taper Up, but it needed a little bit more work. And so that's where we've been. We're coming back in April. If you listen, there you go. If you don't listen anymore because you're tired of the inconsistencies, I get it. But we love what we do. We have such a great year planned, and I just want to send you over to Project Taper Up. Maybe just go listen, see if it's for you. And again, if you're thinking, well, sheesh, I'm not over 50, I'm not old, that's fine. But there's still some great information there. And it's, if you're looking for another thing to listen to when you run or you drive, this is a good one. We don't get into politics. We don't get into weird topics to set you off or, give you that grumpy, frumpy face. So I hope you want to listen. Share us with your friends. Maybe you know somebody that this can help. And again, please reach out if there's people, topics, whatever you want to hear on that side. And again, as well on the Trail Manners side, if there's people, topics you want to be on the show, anything like that, please reach out to me. We're all dialed in. We've got the, remote stuff working now. We're set. We're dialed. But again, this is just an FYI about the Taper Up project. Eric Manning and Joel Hatch are back together on the microphone. Maybe not on this platform, but we do have this other platform on Project Taper Up. And I just, want to encourage you to head over there. You can check out our website, projecttaperup.com. You can find us on all the, podcast platforms. And again, we've only launched 5 shows as of March 24th. So might have to search for us a little bit, but we'll also share some links there. Again, thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'll be back in April when this is up and going, and we're going to have some great information on both sides of the table for you, and we're always looking for recommendations. So again, I just want to thank you for all your support and your patience. We'll put a link in the notes with Project Taper Up. We'll send you to the website where you can find everything. And again, there's good articles there, and we're starting to launch even more. We have our social channels, Project Taper Up on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, so you can check some of that out there. But again, reach out to me, trailmanners@gmail.com, or the website, trailmanners.com, for any questions, ideas, you name it. We're going to be back out there. So again, thank you so much. I hope everybody's had a great start to 2025. If you've been racing, running, hope you're healthy, hope you're strong, and I hope to see you out there. Again, Eric Manning, Trail Manners Podcast. We're not even going to have fancy intros and outros to this show. This is just an FYI show. But again, you don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. Now go get it.